Oh, let's not forget the thumbnail. Hey guys, and welcome to another video, and this one is going to be my May wrap-up. I did pretty good with my reading in the month of May. I actually read 7 books thanks to... That's 8. What am I doing? I actually read 7... That was harder for me to do than it should have been. 7 books in the month of May, with thanks to the readathons that took place, especially the Bite of Books readathon. I actually read 4 of those books during just the 1 week, so that was really handy. I really do enjoy readathons because I find myself finding the time to read that I wouldn't normally. I am excited for the booktubeathon, which comes soon, I believe, in the next month or 2. If anybody knows the actual date, leave it below, because I might try and book some days off work. Is that sad? I don't know. Any excuse for a day off work. But anyway, this is my wrap-up, and I shall get on to the books that I read. The first book I read was Dark Lover, which is the first entry in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, which is all about vampires and all that. This is a really loved series. It's a bit trashy. I describe it perfectly as like fun, trashy, vampire, sexy times. It is very trashy and it's very 90s. Vampires are all kind of 6'5" in leather and they listen to like gangster rap. It was fun. I'm not sure I'm really going to read any more of this series, but it was good for what it is. In the end, I gave Dark Lover 3 stars. Then the next book I read in the month of May was one of my most anticipated releases of the year, and it was The Forever Song by Julie Kagawa. This is the finale to the Immortal Rules or the Blood of Eden series, which is sort of a vampire dystopian. I had been waiting a very long time for this novel, and I hate to say it, but it doesn't quite live up to what I wanted. It was a perfectly serviceable finale, but for a finale to a series that you've really loved, you want something that's going to be a bit more than serviceable. It's hard to say what was missing from this novel. It has a lot of action, it has quite a few good character moments, but there is also some sort of predictability to it. There was also a bit more of a focus placed on the romance in this book. It wasn't a romance that I hated, it was just one that I never really connected to. It was just sort of there, and it was fine. But it wasn't a huge part of why I enjoyed the story, so when it took the focus away from the action, stuff like that, I was a little disappointed. Overall, I definitely wouldn't dissuade people from reading the series because of this one. I gave the first 2 books in the series 5 stars, and this one I sort of gave 3.5. The next 3 books I read in the Bite of Books readathon, so I'm going to quickly tell you the star rating that I gave these books because I made a separate video, and I will leave that linked below where I talk about my thoughts on them. The first one I read was Bloodlines by Rochelle Mead, and I ended up giving this 4 stars. The next was And When She Was Good by Laura Lippman. I gave this one 3 stars. And then I read Vicious by V.E. Schwab, which I gave all the stars, because it was that amazing. 5 stars. During the Bite of Books readathon, I actually managed to make it halfway through The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, and once the readathon was over, I ended up finishing it. And this is going to be one that I think people will really dislike me for, but I didn't enjoy this novel. If you watched my Bite of Books wrap-up, you'll know that I was enjoying this story. I think I'd read the first 200 pages by that point, and I was enjoying it up till then. I liked the story when it was sort of about her cancer group and things like that, but once the story took off to Amsterdam, it was a bit contrived for my liking. Now, I am not a lover of contemporary, I rarely read it, and I always sort of said that I didn't think John Green was going to be an author for me necessarily. And after reading this book, I think I was right in that statement. It's nothing particularly bad about this book. I think the hype did ruin it, mind you. But I just don't think the author is for me. In the end, I gave The Fault in Our Stars 2 stars, and I was disappointed. Don't hate me. The next book I read was Grasshopper Jungle by Andrew Smith. This is definitely a weird book. This book basically deals with a sort of post-apocalypse. This basically follows... I always forget the names. I mean, I didn't even read it that long ago. This deals with the 2 characters of Austin and Robbie, who sort of witness the come about of this praying mantis apocalypse, and then they sort of have to save the world, as kids do every day in these types of books. This has been going around BookTube quite a lot recently, and it seems like it's one of those books that really divides people. You either don't like it or you do, and I definitely fall in the camp of liking it. I like the writing style, I like the humour, I like the action. The one thing I will say is that the themes in this book are a bit more adult than normal YA. These characters are very horny for 15-year-olds, and I'd like to think I wasn't that horny at that age. But yes, they talk about sex a lot. And the main character is always getting inappropriate boners. It's just what happens. I don't know how, but he gets aroused the most weirdest of things. This is sort of a mix between a post-apocalyptic and a contemporary sort of. The main character is actually dealing with issues regarding his sexuality, and he has a girlfriend, also sort of in love with his best friend Robbie. Overall though, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a well-rounded novel that was written in a unique style. I have more Andrew Smith books on my shelf. I have the Marbury Lens, but I really want to get Winger. Do I have that on my Kindle? I think I have that on my Kindle. Yes, after reading this, I am more excited to get into more of Andrew Smith's other books. And the last book I read in the month of May was one of my most anticipated releases. I've already said this twice in one video, but you know what I mean. And that is the sequel to Proxy, and it is Guardian by Alex London. I really enjoyed Proxy. I thought it was a really good dystopian with a good social commentary and story, and I gave that one 5 stars. This one received a bit of a lower rating because I don't think it quite lived up to the original. I can't really say anything about it without giving away spoilers. There were some things I liked about this book. While the first one is a dystopian, this one sort of switches up the genre and it becomes sort of a post-apocalyptic, sort of zombie survival story. They're not actually zombies, but it basically deals with a pathogen that starts infecting people. I thought it was a very interesting route to take compared to the first, and it definitely worked well, and I appreciated that. If you enjoyed Proxy, you will no doubt enjoy this book, as I did. But yes, 3.5 stars. Didn't quite live up to the first, but still a very decent read. So that is the end of my May wrap-up. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you got some insights about these books. I don't know if I made sense. I always sort of just ramble at the camera and hope it makes sense in the editing process. It's probably not the best way to tackle these videos. So that is going to be all from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it one of those big thumbs up, and I shall see you soon with another one. Goodbye!